Hi there, Karen here, and today I'm scrapbooking these two pictures of my daughter celebrating her birthday and using the January hip kit, which as you can see is quite birthday themed, and there was a hat embellishment that matched what she was wearing quite well, so I thought I'd use that, and just going through all the embellishments, having a look to see what I can use. Some is more birthday themed than others. There's quite a few bits there, and I will be able to use quite a bit of those. This is the January hip kit, and this is the sketch I'm going to be basing the layout on. And I'm going to use this colour bloom. This is also in one of the colour kits. It's called Fairy Pond. It's really pretty. I'm going to use that to do a bit of the background. And here I'm just sorting through the papers, picking out some papers that I think will go quite well with the photos. I don't necessarily use them all, but I will. I just put them aside as the options of what I might use. And I'm going to start off by doing a bit of mixed media. I suddenly realised I sprayed onto the packaging, and I had meant to use the brayer to put it on, but I put it straight on the page, and so I used the brayer afterwards. And here I'm using some Heidi Swapp Colour Shine in peach, and this is what I planned to do, which would have given me a bit more control because the blue's gone a little bit all over the place, but it doesn't really matter because quite a bit of it gets covered up. And I decided to use for my backing paper this really pretty peachy pinky paper. This one is one of the papers by Pinkfresh Studio. Quite a few of the papers in this kit were their Pinkfresh Everyday Musings line. So I'm going to use that as the backing, and this Heidi Swapp Colour Shine, I just thought I needed a bit more of that because that went quite well with that backing paper, and I thought it needed to show a bit more of that on the background. So I just added a little bit more. And this paper, this Yay paper, that's from Crepe Paper, I'm not quite sure which collection it's from because I've lost the binding strip. But I thought I'd use it. First of all, I thought I'd cut out the letters. As you can see, I've fussy cut the letters just to put in that little space above the photos. And then I'm just punching out a circle. I'm basing this fairly closely on the kit. So I'm looking at the kit the sketch, and it required a circle at the side there. So I thought I'd cut one out using the Yay. I end up not using it there, but for the time being, that's where it is. And it needed a strip going across the page, so I've using this paper. This is for another Pinkfresh Studio from Everyday Musings. This paper's called Present and Perfect, and I just thought because it's got that contrast, that light coloured contrast, I thought it looked quite good there. Again, I do change it later on, but this is where I'm going at the moment. Just punching out another circle. This is from the which paper is that from? Another Everyday Musings one, I believe. This is the back of the peachy coloured one or the orangey coloured one. Oh, Time for Fun, that paper's called. That's also from Everyday Musings. So I'm just fiddling around trying to get these pieces to work together. And I decided that the white strip going across, I didn't really like it, so I've cut a piece of the blue, which is I think this is another one from, well, it's either Everyday Musings or from Crepe Paper. I think it's one of the Pinkfresh Studio papers again. And I thought the blue actually gave much nicer splash of contrast against the orange. So I'm just cutting it into a banner to put across the page under the photos. Keep trying to rearrange them, trying to get them to fit together. And having another look at this Yay, it just seemed very celebratory, this paper, so I thought there's not many other occasions when I'd use Yay, so I decided to create a banner. So I've got a little piece of a little triangle there, as you can see, that I'm using to draw around to create my Yay banner, which I'm going to put across the top right hand corner of the page. So I'm just cutting all the letters into triangles. The Y and the A suit triangles quite well, but they're different. They're inverted to each other, so it's not a classic banner, I have to say. But I like it. I like the way it just adds that bit of celebratory feel across the top right-hand corner of the page. So I'm just taking off all the pencil marks, and I'm just going to see how it fits on that corner of the page. So that's how it's going to look. And again, just trying everything out, putting it all back in, seeing how it all looks. So this time I've got that blue strip a little bit higher up so that the photo of Hannah and George crosses over it rather than landing on it. I think that looks a bit better. And there's another little narrow strip. I'm now using that white paper again, that white dotty paper for my single strip over the top. And that's the more or less how it's the layout's going to look. But I will make a few more changes, cutting out some more circles. There's quite a lot of circles on the sketch, so I'm just punching out some more circles just to see how they look, tucking them around. And now I'm going to do some blue circles. Don't think any of these circles I've just punched actually make it onto the layout, but I keep trying. Now I'm going to do my title. That's the bit I'm going to work on next, using this happy. I thought that really, so I've got happy day. So I'm going to use these. These are foam stickers. That's from, it's actually called Celebrate, these foam stickers called Celebrate. So it was a very happy day. So I'm going to just put that aside for a moment and work on my banner a little bit more. Now I've decided I need to put some backing paper on this behind the white, just to give it a little bit more of an edge. And I wanted to use that blue, but because I'd cut some of it off to make the strip, it wasn't wide enough to fit. So I've ended up using this piece, which is blue and peach. So it brings the two colours together. This one is, I'm trying to remember what it's called. This is by Crepe Paper. It's from the La La Love collection, and it's called Love Note. And all I did really was just do like an L shape, inverted L shape, which I stuck to the back. Oh, no, I didn't. I cut a frame, but I only stuck it on. It's only visible on two sides. I was going to do it an L shape, but I thought it'd make it too unstable. So I've actually gutted out a piece out of the middle. But I'm going to line it up on the left-hand side and at the bottom, so it's only showing on two sides. You can see I'm just using my tape just to stick it down. So I didn't want it all the way round. I just wanted it on two sides to be visible. So I cut out quite a hefty chunk out the middle so I can use it again. But I thought if I only cut it on, if I cut it as sort of an inverted L shape, an upside down L shape, it just might be a bit too unstable and wouldn't give the cardstock enough support. So I thought I'd make a frame all the way round. Now I'm just doing a little bit of edging with my pen around the edge of all the bits of banner, just so that they'll show up a little bit better against the white cardstock. And I'm going to put them back in position. So they look a bit better with the little bit of outlining on there. And then I'm just going to stick them down. Happy with their position. Using the old Scotch tacky glue to stick them all down. There we go. As you can see, I've done a few splatters as well with some gold Highly Swap Colour Shine. I think I may have edited that bit out, but there's just a few splatters of gold. Seemed to be a good idea for a birthday layout to have some gold on there. And I just thought this piece of cardstock just looked a bit boring, just lying there as it was. So I thought I'd just zhuzh it up a bit. So I've got one of my edger punches. It's an EK Success edge punch. I think this is like the note paper punch. So just doing it randomly around the sides. And then I'm going to just distress the rest of the edges, just to make it look a little bit more interesting, a little less flat, give it a bit of dimension. I'm just going all the way around with my distress tool, ruffling up all the edges. And I'm just going to stick that to the background. Right, so now I'm going to put my yay. I've used my Xyron sticker maker. It's very useful when you're doing letters, rather than trying to put glue on them when you can get in quite a mess. Feed those letters through the Xyron and you just get, and they become sticky backed, and you could just, and it also helps to stop losing them. I'm always losing letters when I've cut them out, and if you put them through your Xyron, you've got them stuck onto that backing sheet and you've got them there until you need them. Okay, so I'm just going through the ephemera that came with it. This is the Everyday Musings ephemera. Just trying to find a few pieces. I decided I wasn't all that keen on the yay that I'd punched out, so I found this piece and I thought that might work. It doesn't. I don't use that either. I did faff around with my circles on this layout, I must say. I kept punching more, kept moving them around, and I just wasn't happy with it. I just was using that yay as a backing paper, but it was too pale, again, behind the ephemera that was in the pack. So I've got that green one, which I've punched out, the large, and it's a scalloped punch, as you can see. So I do use the green one in the end, the large green one, and that does stay in that position. And what else am I? I'm actually going to stick it down. So I have actually made a decision finally that this green one looks quite nice behind the blue, and I've got the green strip going across the middle of the blue as well, so those two work quite well together. So I'm going to stick down my blue strip, and I'm seeing if the yay circle fits on that side, and it's not quite right. So I've turned it over. Oh, actually, that looks better. I preferred it with the pink background for some reason. I decided actually that looks better on that side. So after all that, I'm going to use that pink, the other side of the yay paper. And now I'm happy. I'm going to stick down my blue banner and the little green strip across the middle as well. So finally, I think it's time to put on my photos. There they go. So they were in a city in Vietnam at this time. They'd been travelling for some months. They travelled all together for 4 months. And this was not long before they were due to come home, that she celebrated her birthday. So they were in Vietnam, and they found this shop with all these hats. So they thought they'd buy themselves a couple of funny hats. And it just so happened that there was an ephemera piece, which I will put on shortly, which matches the hat exactly. I couldn't believe it when I saw the photos, and I thought, I've got a piece of ephemera that works extremely well with that photo. I'm going to have to use that. And I do. I'm just sticking down my yay. Lots of yays. Rhyming with happy day. There it is. I was very pleased with that. And then I thought I'd use these colourful alphas that were in the kit. They are by Pinkfresh Studio. They're from the Everyday Musings collection, and they're like an enamel, or they're a puffy alphabet, and quite bright colours. So I thought I'd add them on to the beginning of the word day and make it birthday. And on the Celebrate foam thicker sheet, there was loads of these silver stars, so I thought I'd pop a load of those around the page, because that will really make it look more celebratory. I really think that they just really add a really lovely glittery touch. I love those silver glittery stars. I'm looking at the puffies, at the puffy stickers. And I found a little phrase that says time for fun. And going through the ephemera pieces, I'm trying to find a few other bits. So there's another phrase, and it's in the blue that matches. So I'm going to put that on there. And it just says, you are the music in me. And there's another little ephemera piece. Just says pure joy. I thought that worked in there. So I'm just going sticking with the circle theme, tucking in a few bits and pieces around in the circle, looking for circles that would go. Tried that one. Didn't stick. See what else I've got. And then I decided I quite like this gold one, this gold flower. So that's going in. I just like that in there. No really rhyme or reason why I've picked some over the others. It's just personal taste. I just thought I quite like that in there. And trying to find something else to pop in. One of the circles that I punched out, but I didn't really, didn't stick with it. Now I've got some hearts on this puffy sheet, so I'm going to put some more hearts in. Just a little row of hearts there. Just seeing if there's anything else that would go. Another little heart. No. I'm taking out the that little circle that I punched, decided I didn't want that there. Because I found a puffy circle that I quite liked. That says sunshine on my mind, and I rather like that. Like the colours in it, it went quite well with the rest of it. So that popped in there. And now I'm doing my date. And I messed it up because I forgot to change the year. So I put it as 2018 by mistake. So I had to find a little label that I could stick over the top and then do the date correctly. I didn't check the little date stamp properly and messed it up, but you can always cover things up, and I think a well-known fellow YouTuber always says. So there it is, quite bright jolly page for her bright jolly birthday. So thank you for joining me, and do join me again soon. Bye.